Hello friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today I want to do a video that I did last year, which is talking about palettes that I almost bought in the year 2021. There were a lot of releases this year. The makeup world does not slow down, it doesn't sleep, and there were a lot of things that I skipped on, but I was very tempted by. I believe last year I got this video idea from Angelica, so I will have her channel down in the description box, of course. And before we hop into this video itself, I did of course film this look. I was just going for some kind of toasty mustard brown vibes and I love it. This should already be up on my Instagram and TikTok by the time this video goes up. And let me just give you my jewelry details. My earrings today are from Shop Sun & Co. You can use my affiliate code BATTYBEAN for 10% off. And my necklace and ring are from Ana Luisa. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in and chat about some palettes that I almost bought in 2021. Let's do a little scooch so that I have room for some pictures. All right, first off the bat is from Unearthly Cosmetics. This So Mermazing palette really had me tempted. The main reason I skipped out on this one was because it released right around the time we were dealing with moving and stuff like that, so it just was not a good time to buy something new. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't get it because I heard some hit or miss reviews. And the mattes aren't as dark as I would want them to be for a palette like this. I wish the mattes were a bit deeper, but it is really pretty. It's aesthetically pleasing, and I do have my eye on that brand for sure. And also piggybacking off of that one, the Cobra palette that they also released also piqued my interest. I just skipped on that one again because, you know, I don't remember exactly why I skipped on this one, but again, I heard some hit or miss reviews, and hearing reviews doesn't always completely sway my opinion. I mean, for instance, I've had a great experience with every melt palette I've ever used, even though those tend to have hit or miss reviews. So I mean, you never know what you're gonna like, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just waiting for that perfect release from them to jump on it. Next up, when BH Cosmetics released their Say It collection with these 6 mini palettes, I was very intrigued. The palettes were very funny. They had just very blunt names for them, and it was pretty cute. I really liked that purple and blue one specifically, and I also really liked that earthy one with the pop of blue in the top corner and that kind of greenish one in the middle top. I ended up skipping on this release just because I realized I didn't really need it. It was just appealing to me as a whole, and I knew I didn't want the entirety of it. But I thought this was a really cute release, and I did find myself tempted for a little minute there. Next up from Glam, this was the Red Velvet Cupcake palette. I was very tempted by this one. Again, this launched right around the time we were moving, so that's why I ended up skipping on this one. But I was super tempted. I loved the looks of those bright pinks, the little bright red, the purples. I thought it was a very cute palette. And at the time I had never tried Glam before, so I was very much considering it, especially because this was a smaller palette and that appealed to me a lot more than their large palettes. But alas, I didn't end up getting this one. In fact, the first Glam palette I tried was the Michaela one, which I love. Even though that's larger than I typically like, that palette just spoke to me and I loved it and I'm very impressed by it. So I do have my attention more on Glam now that I know how much I enjoy their formula. So who knows, maybe I'll snag this in the future, or I'll just keep waiting around until another thing screams to me. I guess keeping with Glam, that little happy hour collection they launched with 4 palettes, I was very tempted. I actually talked about this in a recent video where I reacted to products you thought I'd enjoy. And basically they first announced the green one and I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy that. And then they announced the purple one. I was like, okay, maybe I'll get that one too. And then they launched the neutral one and then the colorful one. And at that point I was like, okay, now I'm overwhelmed. I don't want any of them. Which is so silly, but honestly, if they would have just launched the 1 or 2, I probably would have gotten them both, but because they launched a ton of them, I felt overwhelmed and didn't want to buy any. And looking back, I'm glad I skipped on these because I didn't need large monochromatic palettes. The rainbow one obviously isn't monochromatic, but I don't really need a new rainbow palette in my collection. They are really cute. I like the vibes, but this is one that I'm glad I skipped on. This one, I was so surprised how much it tempted me. This was from Colourpop. This was their It's a Mood 30 Pan Mega Palette. The Mega Palettes in general don't normally speak to me from them, and they send me PR like fairly frequently. I don't get everything, and this is one of the ones I didn't get, but I felt so much FOMO not having this one because I saw so many people creating so many beautiful looks, specifically Millie from Bad to the Brows. She created such lovely looks and I was obsessed with them. But at the end of the day, I decided to skip on this one. There were a lot of pressed glitters in it, so that kind of helped turn me away from it, but The vibe in general of this palette is so pretty. I love those jewel tones and those murky swampy colors. I definitely don't need this one, but I was intrigued for a hot minute there, and I was so surprised that I was intrigued as I was. This one had my attention and still kinda does. This is the Encanto palette with Olimar Cosmetics. We actually just saw the movie fairly recently, probably weeks ago by the time this video goes up, but as of this moment on December 1st, we saw it very recently, and it's such a good movie. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. The songs are bops and the story is so good, and I love the characters. But regardless, this palette is beautiful. I talked myself out of this one just because I knew there were a couple other things that were coming out at around this time that I was planning on purchasing, that I did. So I skipped on this one, but it's really, really pretty. I love the shades of the mattes in here so much. They're so swampy and grungy and earthy. And these shimmers are outstanding looking. They look so beautiful. And I'm still tempted by it, not gonna lie, but I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm telling myself I don't need it, but it is very, very pretty. And I haven't tried anything from Olimar in a long time. Like, I haven't tried any of their recent releases the last probably 2, maybe even 3 years. So I do want to try some more from them. I just need to get around to doing it. This one from Lois Cosmetics. This is the Meet Me in the Underworld palette. I was so tempted by this as well. Again, this launched right around the time we were moving, so it was just not a good time for me to buy new things, but this is so beautiful, so well done. I love the rich, warm, yummy tones in here. It is so delicious and grungy and amazing. This launched in the spring, which I thought was perfect, but this even looks like a beautiful wintry palette as well. It's a very just well-made palette. I'm very impressed with the color story. I don't know anything about the quality. I've never tried this brand. I hadn't even heard of this brand until this palette launched. And now I have my eye on them. I'm kind of just keeping an eye on what they're releasing. If they come out with something super new that really screams to me, maybe I'll pick something up. But this was one that definitely caught my eye this year. This launch I really, really wanted actually. This was the Sydney Grace and Temptalia collaboration. They came out with 3 palettes, and each of the palettes also had a deeper variation where some of the mattes were a little bit darker to suit deeper skin tones, which I thought was amazing. I really wanted to get the 3 of the deeper version because I really just enjoyed the deeper colors of the mattes more than the lighter ones. And I was really planning on getting the bundle, but the one that I ended up wanting the most ended up being out of stock first. So because of that, I just didn't get any of them, but I thought these were really beautiful. I think she did a great job with the color stories. They're so rich and beautiful. I don't remember the name of the one that I liked the most, but it's the one with the kind of reddish, purpley-ish, greenish, and bluish shimmers on the top row. So beautiful. Or maybe that's the bottom row, I'm not sure. But regardless, it has kind of those colors in it, and it's so incredibly pretty. This was a really fun collab to see kind of come together. She was showing lots of sneak peeks in the process of the whole thing throughout the entirety of the collaboration, and this was really cool to see come together. And I'm really proud of her for coming out with a collab because she's been such a staple in the beauty community for such a long time. Next up, a couple of things from Unearthly Cosmetics, formerly known as Alien Cosmetics. I wanted the Lore and Fairy palettes so bad, and the main reason I never picked any up is because I can't decide which one I want, because I feel like they have such similar vibes that I don't need both. I think if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick the Fairy one over the Lore, but they're both really pretty. And the main reason I didn't pick any of these up is just because I just never got around to it. I even went to their Black Friday sale and things sold out really, really fast, so even the things that I wanted weren't available anymore. But I was tempted by these cute little 9 pans. I think they're adorable. I was also tempted by the Witching Hour palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is just Halloween vibes and it's absolutely beautiful. This launched towards like the mid of October, and I was just kind of already swamped with filming and playing with new things that I ended up not picking this one up. But it did get my attention. I thought the colors were very bright and very pretty and very festive. And this one just made my heart happy to look at. Sometimes you can just admire makeup from afar and enjoy it without having to buy it. And I think that's okay to do. And I think I have just one more to talk about. This is the Juvia's Place Holiday palette. They came out with 2 little 6-pan palettes. This one is the I Live, I Love palette, which I don't love that name. It definitely gives me live, laugh, love vibes. But this color story is so cute. It reminds me a lot of the Mini Norvina Pro Volume 3 or something like that, the one with little cherries on it. I love the blue turquoise red combination. I think it's so fun. It reminds me of a bomb pop and it's so cute. I ended up talking myself out of it mostly just because I was on their website trying to fill up my cart, but I was having such a hard time finding the things that I wanted to add to get free shipping. So because of my struggle, I ended up just not getting anything at all. And I'm glad I didn't get it. I don't think I need this one. I think it just kind of appealed to me aesthetically more than anything, but I don't know how much long-term use I would get out of this one. So this is another one that I'm happy to just admire from afar. I think it's really cute, but it's definitely not a need. And I think those are all the palettes I wanted to talk about. How many things did we even talk about today? I think around 13 posts, but multiple of those had multiple palettes within them. So lots of things to talk about. Passed on a lot of things and I'm okay with that. I don't have too much FOMO looking back at these. Again, I think it's okay to kind of admire makeup from afar. You don't have to own everything. You can appreciate things aesthetically or maybe kind of look in your own collection and see what you can kind of create that gives you a similar vibe. I'm really happy I've kind of broken my buy mentality that I used to have back in like 2017 YouTube days. I used to literally want to collect everything or I would feel the most FOMO. But I'm really happy I've kind of broken away from that. I'm able to kind of really step back and really assess how badly I want or need something. Nobody needs makeup, but you know. I would love to know some of the things that you almost bought this year. It can even be things outside of eyeshadow palettes, blushes, highlights, lipsticks. Let me hear what you passed up on this year that you kind of wish you would have gotten, but you're okay that you didn't. I would also love to hear your thoughts about the palettes I talked about today. Do you want any of them as well? Did you try any of them yourself? I would love to chat with you down below. If you made it to the end of this video, why don't you leave me a yellow emoji because we are all yellow-ified today. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me on my other socials. You can join the BATTYBEAN fam. I am BATTYBEAN on everything. I post every day on Instagram and I'm pretty active on TikTok and Twitter as well. And if you want, you can subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I'm posting every single day up until Christmas. Thank you so much for watching and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.